Well, today is one of those unusual warm days that are kind of like a gift. It's above thawing. So I repaired a piece on the dog sled. You know, these joints are all held together with rawhide that's then varnished. And I noticed I broke one the other day, one of my rawhide pieces. These ones back here are particularly vulnerable because, you know, your brake is back here, you're jumping around back and forth all the time, and it's very easy to hit these. But the whole machine kind of depends on these joints. You know, the rawhide is used because it, even with varnish on it, stays flexible to a certain degree. But what I do, I use dog chew toys. You know, you can buy them fairly cheap. Soak them, flatten them out, and then cut around a piece. You know, like this, you could take and cut around it, and then you end up with one long strip. So I put that on there, you know, lace it through round and round, and then I go this way, and that tightens it up. You get it fairly snug, and then as it dries, it tightens up more. And then once it's good and dry, put varnish on it. But it's kind of an emergency repair. You know, you can do it even with regular leather, anything, just to hold it over until, you know, I kind of redo these every summer, but this one needed her now. And as long as I'm out here, and it's a nice day, I'm gonna melt down one of my bricks of lead. Got some bullets, some of those 314. What are they, 299 or? Because I've been experimenting with them. And I figured, okay, as long as I got everything hooked up and going, I've got this Norma brass for their Argentine Mauser that I figured, well, I might as well re-anneal those. So today, I'm multitasking. But like I say, these days are rare, and you got to treat them like a gift because it's going to get cold. You know, around 0, maybe high of 8 above from now on for about a week at least. So now is the time to catch up on stuff I can do out here. I noticed as I'm working on this, I've got some varnish flaking off on some of the other joints, so I think I'm going to go and re-varnish all of them, just put another coat on. You know, part of it is if the varnish chips off, then the rawhide stretches and the joints all loosen up. But also if the rawhide chips off, or if the varnish chips off, rodents will eat the rawhide. They won't eat it if it's varnished, but if the varnish wears off, they will gnaw on the rawhide. Then dogs will too. I know one time I had a sled that started getting kind of nibbled away by dogs. You know, when the varnish wore off, they chew up them little pieces of rawhide. So I'll touch them all up. As long as I get a nice day, because there aren't going to be many of these. But I got to let this one dry for a while. But it works good. But working with rawhide is interesting. And it works very well because it does, you know, when I put these joints, like everything is mortar steel and stuff, but then it still has a degree of flexibility, which you have to have. You know, like when they first came out with the ability to weld aluminum, they got the wild idea of making some aluminum sleds. And in cold conditions, the aluminum just broke. You know, it just couldn't handle the cold. Plain wood and rawhide, and this is ash from ash that I cut. I've got several sleds, but this is the one I like. Well, I got another short one too I like for training, but this is a nice, keeps a nice line. But I'll let this dry, and then I'll varnish. And in the meantime, make up bullets so I don't run short of them. Now I found one of the best holders, you know, when you're annealing, are these driver sets. You know, I have these that are made, well, Makita makes them, but these happen to be the Master Mechanic ones. But what you do is you take and use the driver shell and just put paper in to the level that you need it to be. And this is one of them things you got to learn to use your judgment on. So you go by color change. But it was actually a little easier to do when it's kind of an overcast day. But I can get it. But it makes a difference. Well worth doing. Well, there, after casting one of these bricks, of which I have quite a few, of lead, got about 150 bullets out of it, but that doesn't include, you know, I've got all that sprue to melt down and use again, and a few bullets that didn't work out right. But most of the time they were pretty good. I've got a little practice at this. And I got my brass all annealed. And these are for that Mauser, though I do experiment with in the Moser too, in the Mosin. And I think I've got a bunch loaded up. I'll probably go out this afternoon now and try them out. As long as it's early enough in the day yet. But now I'm going to have dinner. But I've had a productive day.